Good morning, everybody. It is very early morning. Everything is still dark outside, and the temperature is, fairly cool, about minus 28 degrees Celsius. Um, but we are up and ready and starting the day, anyways. Even though on these cold winter days we certainly have a desire to sleep in. But I'd like to talk about that this morning. I have seen some of our people have struggled through poverty. They do not seem to know what is the cause of their poverty and what they can do about it. They look at what others have and they would like that. They covet what others have. They wish they could have that also, but they do not seem to understand what others do to have those things, those pleasures, and those abilities to have enough, have wealth, have money, have a nice house, have a vehicle that works. They always are struggling because they cannot see what it takes to have those things, and they live their lives in poverty because they do not know how to change, what to change. They think it's just, like that the great creator plays favorites or something like that. But this is not so. I mean, the creator has created everything and has made everything work together, and we he has given us instructions on how things work so that we can actually use that to our advantage and actually have enough. He does not like us to live in poverty, not in the least. He actually would like us to have enough so that we can help others and so that we can be healthy and strong and overcome all the negative side of this existence so that we can learn and grow and become more and more like Him. So, I would like to tell you a little story that perhaps it will work, help people, perhaps not. But let's tell you a little story. There was once a man who was a very hard man. This man did not bend for anyone. He had a very stern reputation, and no one wanted to work for him. But he was a prosperous man, and everything he did made money. He everything succeeded. He was a good man in that he gave to the poor and helped the community. But this man was very strict in every area of his life and would voice his opinion at any time he had the chance. Now, this voicing of his opinion got him into difficulty with the other members of the community. They thought it too hard and took offense to him. Um, so it created a distance between him and the others in the community. Then one day the man let it be known that he was looking for a worker. He wanted to expand his holdings and he needed to go on a trip to purchase some new land, and he needed someone to take care of his very large farm while he was gone. But in the community, there were only a few young men who even applied for the job. The farmer interviewed like three young men for the job. The first boy did not know anything about farming, and he kept looking at his phone all the time, and during the interview, and then the second boy seemed rather lazy. He wasn't physically fit, and he kept trying to sit down or lean against something every time the farmer took him around to show them the different duties on the farm. Now, he would only be gone a couple of weeks, so he needed someone who would work. So the third boy was strong and healthy and paid attention. But he said something that the old farmer was worried about. The farmer asked if the boy thought he could handle all the responsibilities of the job, and the boy simply responded, "I can sleep through a storm." The farmer thought, why is the boy talking about sleeping? I need someone who can work, you know. But the boy had a very good reputation for being a hard worker. So as the date of the farmer's departure drew closer, the old guy knew he had to make a decision. So he chose the boy who could sleep through a storm, gave him the keys, and left on his journey. 2 weeks later, as the farmer was driving home, one of the worst storms in his life had hit the area, and he was starting to get worried. The farmer worried about his farm, his livestock, and he sped up and drove hours and hours through mud and horrible conditions, getting stuck and digging himself out, and it was just a terrible time for him because of his fear. So he was hoping to salvage what little he could. In his mind, he figured his farm had been destroyed. As he pulled into the long farm driveway, though, he could see that the power was out. There were no lights. So he ran into the house and found the boy asleep. And of course, he thought, how can this boy sleep during a storm? Does he not know that the storm could ruin me? So the man yelled at him, "Get up, get out of bed. It's storming. We need to cover the hay." The man ran outside in the rain and around the back of the house and found that the hay was already stacked and covered and secured. Then he thought, oh no, the chickens. And so he ran back to the house. He saw the boy hadn't even moved. So he yelled, "Get up. We need to go gather the chickens and get the chicken coop closed up." And the man ran back outside, not even doing up his coat. He was such a panic. And he ran out into the night. And he found the chicken pen, and he worked his way along the fence until he could get to the gate. He went in and found the coop was already boarded up and secure. And when he looked inside, dozens of chickens. He had a lot of chickens. Dozens of chickens were safely nestled in their nests. And he thought, oh no, the horses. The old man never stopped to think that there's something this boy has. So the man ran back around to the back of the house, and because he certainly would need help gathering horses in the storm, because horses get a little skittish sometimes, lightning, things like that. But the boy was sleeping. The old man kicked the bed and yelled at him, "How dare you sleep during a storm? Do you not know how much I need your help?" The old farmer kicked the bed again, ran out to the horse stables. Inside the stable, he found the horses were all safely in their stalls. They had food and water and fresh straw on the floor. There was a battery-operated radio playing in the background, keeping the horses calm. All the stalls had been repaired, and the horses had been groomed, and they were happy as anything to see the old farmer. Even the leak in the roof had been repaired. Of course, the farmer started to worry, what about the livestock, right? And he's like, there is no way this boy could have gathered in 300 sheep before the storm. So off he ran back to the house. If I find that boy asleep, I'm going to dock his pay. The old farmer's just raging. Sure enough, the boy had rolled over and pulled the blanket over his head, and the farmer was angry. He jerked the blanket off, shoved the boy out of the bed. The boy woke with a start. What is the matter? And the old farmer was just going crazy. Get up and come out here and help me with the sheep. There's a storm. Do you not know how skittish sheep are in the storm? Help me gather the sheep. The boy got up and got dressed. The farmer ran out to the field already. The boy chased after him. And the farmer yelled, "See, I told you so. I cannot see any of the sheep. They all ran away. Why were you sleeping?" And the boy asked, "How did they get out of the barn?" The old farmer just looked at the boy and ran to the barn. As he ran in, there were the sheep, safe and sound. All the holes in the roof were patched, all the windows were boarded up for the storm. There was fresh straw on the ground. The mangers were all filled with hay. The water barrels were filled with to the top. The farmer just sat down, and his heart still racing. What did you do? He asked the boy. And the boy says, I prepared ahead of time. While my friends were out enjoying the good weather, I was working hard to get things ready for the storm. Why did you not just tell me? The old farmer says. The young boy said, I didn't even hear you come home. I was so exhausted from working so hard and so late every day that I slept so soundly. The next day, the storm finally cleared, and the old farmer and his now trusted employee drove around the community. There were a lot of trees down and power lines touching the ground and sheep and cattle everywhere. It was a horrible mess, and it would take the community years to recover. On the contrary, it would only take him, the old farmer, a couple of weeks just to clear up a few fallen trees and fix his fences. The whole community said that the old farmer was lucky, though. The people just said they accused the Creator of playing favorites. They just falsely accused the Creator for no reason, just accused him for playing favorites and saying that he just blessed the old man. And the rest of the community, they coveted the farmer's good fortune, and they never could understand why he was blessed and they were not. After all, they were good people. They thought they could not be expected to work on all those nice days that preceded the storm. They had a right to play and enjoy life. All the regular excuses. Why should they be punished for just having a little bit of fun? Why should the farmer be blessed just because his farmhand worked hard? Do they think they're better than us? All those terrible things people say. Why do they get blessed and we do not? So many people have so little, and they just keep wondering why they have so little. Instead of talking with your friends every morning, get started on your chores. If you have to talk, talk while you work. But work faster than you talk. Don't talk so much. It's best to get your work done first, instead of taking so many breaks during the day. If you need a break from one job, switch to another job. Let that be your break. Do not just stop working. Instead of looking for entertainment, like TV or your cell phones, you have to talk while you work. Let your hands move faster than your mouth, though. Instead of just laying down to rest and sitting on your butt all day, study the latest developments in your field. Whatever your employment is, learn more. Do not waste a single second. Improve yourselves, improve your skills, learn to be polite, professional, improve your communication skills, be a peacemaker, be a problem solver, find solutions. Never sit down. The more a person prepares ahead of time in all areas of the life, the more blessed they will be. Run, move fast. It is true you do not have to run faster than you have strength to run. But that doesn't mean sit down. That means run. So the question really remains. Are you willing? Are you willing to put in the work that you too may sleep through a storm?